How are you all? So I'm back again with sixth episode of season 4 of my talk show. You all know this, it's called Mona Lisa's Talk Show, and today I have another interesting guest with me who is a best-selling author, columnist, journalist. So let me quickly welcome Vani Kaushal. Hi Vani, how are you? Welcome to my show.
Good. Thank you so much for inviting me. This is such a lovely opportunity. Thank you so much.
And before we start the question and answers round, just tell me quickly that how much uh, you excited you are, because I think we are new to each other. So are you slightly nervous? What kind of questions are coming to you?
I am excited. I'm more excited because, this book it just came out in a couple of months ago. It was released. My latest book came out in October, 24th of October. And every time I get to speak about it, it just gets me super excited. And when you approached me, about, that you want to do this talk show with me and we'll be speaking about the book and the journey and all that, I was like, wow, this is just another huge opportunity for me to talk about the book. And I am super excited and I'm just so looking forward to our conversation, especially because you've interviewed so many people and you've done such a wonderful job of just asking them so many questions and you've had lovely, amazing people on the show. And I'm one of them. So thank you so much for the opportunity.
The pleasure is all mine. So let's begin with the Q&A. It's going to be absolutely free flowing. So before we talk about your author journey, I want to know that you are an energy healer, NLP coach, Akashic Records reader, certified hypnosis, and past life regression therapist. So have you been practicing this even before your journey started as an author? And how do you apply all these modalities in a real life situation?
So you've kind of started with the tricky question first. Uh, I was an avid meditator for many years, and I was already writing, and I was like meditating because you need a calm mind. It's a different energy. Creative energy is very different, and you need a very different mind space to kind of channel that. A good writing, because you're not writing the book, to be honest. The book is getting written through you. You're just basically just a channeler. You're just putting it out on the paper. And the more connected with the source you are, the better you're able to write. So I got into meditation when I realized that the much in my brain, that wasn't allowing me to write, and I started meditating, and it became like such such, I don't know whether you would call it passion or whether you would call it like I don't know, people call it a hobby or what. But at one point in time I was meditating for three and a half hours, like 1.5 hours in the morning, 1.5 hours in the evening. And subsequently the books were coming out and things were happening, and I found that when I was going for my events I was in a very good mental space. And gradually I think the whole kind of thing opened up for me. Healing arts, so first Reiki came to me, and I trained myself in many modalities of Reiki. Then past life regression came to me, then Akashic records reading came to me, and now I'm an access past practitioner as well. And side by side my psychic gifts open. So what it has done for me in as far as my writing is that writing was my main hustle earlier, but now it's a side hustle for me, and I bring in a lot of my stuff, like as a psychic, whatever I do, I understand people on an altogether different level. I bring in dreams, visions, prophecies, and all those things into my writing. So the writing has more depth now. And I think it's just enhanced the whole experience for me. It's easy for me to write now. Not that I'm writing, not that I have back to back sessions. So writing has become a challenge now. That's why I said, so after this book, honestly, I haven't written anything. So I don't know when or where or what my next book is going to be. But yeah, probably in nonfiction space.
Right. Okay, so another interesting thing I would like to know from you that Would you explain how do you exactly apply hypnosis and past life regression? Because I'm a very curious person when these kind of topics come. I'd like to know a little bit.
Okay, so till now, I haven't really written anything which concerns past life experiences of people and all. But in my sessions, I have got so many stories, and they are like a fodder for my imagination. If I have to put it that way. For example, I take people into multiple. So I within past life regression, there are many things that it's kind of all encompassing, and there are many sessions that I do. There are sessions where I take people into multiple past lives, where we explore one life, second life, third life. All of them have some kind of are having some kind of an impact on this current life. Then I take people into future lives where they explore their current timeline. Then I take people on in life between life sessions where they get to explore their karmic contract, why they came here, what was their soul lesson, etc. And then there's a fourth one where I take them across different timelines. So this is one timeline for us, but in this current lifetime, every choice point that we have left behind is another timeline where a version of us is still living that out. So the guy we did not marry, a version of us got married to him or her, that person, and made babies. So it's basically every choice point that we think, the what ifs of our lives that we think we never got to express, but trust me, there's a version of us that's still living out those options. So within that, it's very exciting. And why I have described all these modalities that I do is because it's given me a lot to think about, to write about. I have all these experiences from my clients, their stories, and their stories are very deep. Like it, it's so deep, like the karmas they created in previous lifetimes, how who was close to them, who has kind of come with them to this life, what kind of lessons they were meant to learn, where they kind of failed, whether they died early, how they died, etc., etc. So I think whenever I get an opportunity to write about all these experiences, of course, with names changed and with places and locations changed, whether it comes out as fiction or non-fiction, I really do not know. But whenever I sit down to write these, I think I would have a really big kind of novel. It won't be a novella for sure, but a novel. Like, I don't know what it's going to look like, but yeah, it's just given me so many stories. I don't even need to read newspapers. I have stories of my own.
Wonderful. Okay, so now let's talk about your latest book, which is getting good attention from media, as I've noticed, and many people from around the world. So tell me, how did the idea, yeah, Mr. Joshi's Bride, how
Yeah,
did the
and
idea
you're my Miss Joshi as well. I was thinking, what a coincidence. You are Joshi, and my book is called Mr. Joshi's Bride. So yeah, this is something to think about. Yeah. So it's Mona Lisa Joshi interviewing Vani Kaushal for her book Mr. Joshi's Bride.
this is another universal connection, I feel.
Yes.
Okay, so tell me, how did the idea come to you? And it seems like a rom-com from the cover page. And what is the setup? A bit of it, if you would like to give.
Yes. So Mr. Joshi's Pride is the story of a young NRI boy and his quest to find his perfect partner. That's the simple premise that I have. And within that, it deals with the arranged marriage system that we still have in India in this century, this date and age. And it's all your aunts and uncles and your cousins, your sibling, everybody kind of poking their nose where they should not. It's your personal business where everybody has something to say about the whole thing. And so, this guy is really hot on the Indian wedding market. He's an NRI, and NRI from the US of A is like really your market value really increases. And you know how much trouble this poor guy has to go through to just find a bride for himself. That's what the story is all about. And you're right about the media attention. So, number one, the book was on number one on Amazon's bestseller list, and it was there for quite a while. So the book has been taken internationally very well by readers all over the world. Many of my clients are reading it or have read it and have amazing things to say about it. They say they could relate to the story, especially as I have not used Indian language or our dialect and all that, and I've written it having this international readership in my mind, and that was possible because I was one. I've lived abroad for a few years. I was in London, and secondly because I was aware that if I have to reach international readers, then I better make it language accessible for them, as in not using dialect too much, or even humor. I have kind of made it very the timing had to be correct, the language had to be correct, it had to be uh, I wanted a foreign reader to also understand it. So that was very tough, but I kind of, I'm just so happy to see the media reports about it. A couple of Indian media have reported about it, and a couple of them will be reporting about it. I have a few sessions, going forward in the next couple of months, and the response has been terrific. It's just amazing. And what kind of led me to write this novel, you asked? Well, there was just so much happening around me. So this story has its seeds from my own family. My own brother was at one point in time struggling to find a bride for himself, and these were family conversations. That you're 29, you won't find a bride for yourself, and all those kind of little bits here and there, neighbors getting interested, and grandmothers, grand nieces, cousins, daughter getting interested. So we've seen all that in the family, and then at the same time, a lot of my friends were also getting similar proposals and things like that. So there was enough that was happening around me that kind of uh, made me think like, okay, I think I've lost you. Yeah, I lost you for a minute.
Yeah.
I lost you for a minute.
Okay. Please go ahead. That's now it's fine.
Some connection issue, right?
Yeah, I guess some
Okay.
glitch happened.
Yeah. So yeah, that's okay. That's okay. Glitches are good. No problem with that. So yeah. So I hope you were able to like
Yeah.
I wasn't
Able
like
to listen.
inaudible. Yeah. So
Yeah.
what I was saying was there's a lot happening around me, which kind of led me to write this story, and I'm glad people have liked it.
Okay. So do you plan to write some sequel to it?
I do. How do you know? The thing is that I have a sequel that is ready, and because I've not had a moment to sit down and think about my next book or whatever, I have the sequel ready, and I was thinking for all this time, like I can actually go out with a sequel. I mean, let's see what happens. People have liked this one; they might like the sequel as well. So yeah, I have a sequel ready. So the interesting thing is that the novel ends at a point which it has an uncharacteristic ending, and that was for a reason because I thought I always had a sequel in mind. Before I started my practice, my healing practice, I had enough time to actually plan it out, to work on it, and to finish it as well. So that one book is lying in my laptop and it's ready. So let me see if there are takers for it. I'll ask my literary agent. I work with the Book Bakers Agency, and they're India's biggest, and help by Suhail Mathur. So I have to get in touch with him for that. But good, you planted a lot of ideas in my head today. One about writing a novel about past life or something, and then about proposing the sequel to my literary agency.
Okay. If I'm glad that I mean, you have found some inspiration. But I want to suggest one more thing. If it's all your wish, but just a suggestion that maybe you can also start because authors have to promote themselves. So you can start your channel and keep reading something from your book, all the books that you've written, and you can make some episodes. So that's you can
That's an
that way you can
excellent
connect with your readers.
That's an excellent suggestion, and I was a regular on this app called Mensa, and I had a regular podcast there until last year. But then, because I mostly have back-to-back sessions and very less time to focus on podcasts and all that, so I kind of stopped it. So I start things, then I kind of go on with them for a couple of episodes, and then it's just I can't find time, and then I have to stop these things. So yeah, I mean, I love that suggestion, and thank you for reminding me about it. I think I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take that suggestion and do something with it.
Okay, that would be lovely. So I will look forward to your channel then. So one thing I want to ask that this is a completely different genre you have delved into. So another of your earlier book I was noticing it's a thriller book, I think. So, was it difficult to write a completely different genre, something like into comedy and all? Because earlier I noticed that you have written a non-fiction book as well. So, how did it happen? The whole transition that you decided that you'll try your hands into comedy and all.
So I'll tell you a bit of my story. So recession groom. So this one, Mr. Joshi's Bride is romantic comedy. Then I have a book called Seconds Later. This is romantic thriller, and I have also there's a book called Flowers Forever. That was a non-fiction book that I wrote for somebody in the US. So yeah, I mean, it's just that every time I write a book, I try to get out of my comfort zone. Seconds Later was a romantic thriller. This was the story of a girl who thinks she can handle fame, not knowing that I guess. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can. I don't know
Yeah.
why it's happening.
So that's okay. That's okay. Something like that keeps things interesting. We should never worry too much. Anybody who wants to listen to it will listen to it, the whole thing. So I was telling you about Seconds Later. Seconds Later is basically a romantic thriller. It's the story of a young girl who thinks she can handle fame, not knowing that fame doesn't come easy, that there's a price to pay for fame. And this was a romantic thriller. This starts with kind of like a murder scene unfolding, and then it just unfolds at a very rapid pace. This one got a lot of good reviews from people the world over. Again, Mr. Joshi's Bride is also like a romantic comedy, getting a lot of reviews from international reviewers and readers based in the country. Whenever I write, I try to get out of my comfort zone, and I take this challenge on that. Okay, you know what is it? How can I make it interesting and exciting for myself? Because I'm the first reader. If it's not interesting for me, then it's not interesting for anybody else. And plus, if I'm going to work on it for the next couple of months or years, might as well just create something which continues to excite me for that much amount of time. Seconds Later took about 4 years to write. You know? So, and it got amazing reviews, and it was taken up for adaptation by Story Inc. And Mr. Joshi's Bride took even longer. I started writing the first draft in 2011, and it got published in 2024.
No, no, I'm not amazed. I mean, I'm amazed because that you are maintaining a flow. But the thing that you've taken so much time, even I am that kind of person. I've taken 10 years to write my novel.
Yes.
So I'm
Yes.
glad to meet you. That you are into writers as well. Because I always felt ashamed of God, I've taken so much time. So
Well,
let's
I look at it this way that, it's not every day that you're going to write this book. So might as well that, you write the best version of it that you can. And then just, then I know it's a bit frustrating as well because it's almost like, oh my God, I've spent a decade to just write one book. And how many books do I, and do you realistically think I can really write? But it is what it is. There are some writers who manage somehow 3 books a year or even 4 books a year. I'm certainly not one of them.
I'm not also. And I keep wondering how do they do that?
No, I'm not one of them. And I have tremendous respect for people who are able to do that.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so let's talk about your latest project that you have mentioned in your profile that you're writing a self-help book on women empowerment. So my question to you is that how do you plan to maintain that authenticity? Because I'm sure there are many women writers already out there who've written about, women empowerment, feminism. So what will be your USP to present it in the market already filled with so many self-help books?
I think that as a woman, I feel that you can't have enough of these books. There's no, there's never gonna be like, oh, we've had enough. We've had enough of this kind of literature. I think everything that we write is gonna add on to that pile, and bring something that of your essence to it. So my book will be my contribution. I have tremendous respect for people who have written about feminism or issues related to women and all that. If you have to talk about my writing, I think there is a humor. Even in Seconds Later, which was a romantic thriller, I kind of have a lot of comedy going on. There's a lot of humor in that one. Mr. Joshi's Bride is again, it has a humorous take to the whole wedding thing, and this self-help book that I'm currently writing, I have 2 chapters written for it, and the next 3 chapters yet to go. So it's kind of I'm trying to take things which are very very personal, which women don't even speak with other women, about. So those kind of things, and the whole thing has a kind of a Vani shape on the whole thing, because I'm a Punjabi. So Punjabis are, they love humor, they're light-hearted. We can't be too serious, So there is always that kind of a thing in my writing. I see that a lot. I get too bored if it's serious, if it's got multiple layers to it and all that. I kind of release the thought and then I leave it to the reader's understanding. Everybody's clever. There's a lot of gyan circulating around, and I think people get it when you're trying to suggest something, and you don't need to really, really go into the depths of things. And, that's what. So that's my personal take, if you ask me, and that's how I am writing my book. But yeah.
So how do you further plan to promote the Joshi's Bride in like India, or maybe you're also planning to promote it abroad as well?
I kind of see a lot of opportunities coming in, and again, I have a lot of people kind of sending me videos, reading from the book, and they're sending me pictures and all that. So I keep collecting those. I'm also reaching out to people to promote the book. See, the thing is that this promotion does not have an end to it. Like this, you can keep promoting your book for the next 10 years of your life, basically, and people will still. So if you're really good, chances are that it'll be taken up for adaptation as well. So the book just came out in October, so the journey is a long one. So you keep promoting the second one, and then the third one comes out, then you promote all three. So at this moment, I'm not just promoting Mr. Joshi's Bride, I'm also promoting Seconds Later. There are interviews, there are discussions, there are, kind people like yourself, and you decided to interview me. And I've also seen that you've left very cute comments um, on my tiny videos and all that, which is very reassuring. So I just kind of I want to keep doing it. And if people can connect with me, with my content, I think sooner or later they'll also buy the book. So it's not necessary whoever is connecting with my content is also buying my book. But I'm really not bothered about it. I'm like, okay, if you can connect with my content, you will be curious to know what I do. And it might spark an interest in my books as well. So I don't know. I just release all these question marks to the universe. I'm a healer. I just give a lot of healing to my books, and that's it.
That's lovely to know. Okay, so which part do you find difficult when it comes to writing, then publishing, and then promoting?
I think writing is so I'll tell you on a scale of 10. Okay, so on a scale of 10, with 10 being the hardest and one being like super easy. Let's put it that way. Writing is right. Writing is 11 on 10. It is easy to write a book, but very, very difficult to write a good book, exciting book, interesting book. And I am really tough on myself when I'm in the writing process. So that's number one. Rewrites are even tougher. So it's 15 on 10. Like I push myself so hard, I can't get sleep. I just think, dream about the book very hard for me to navigate the rewriting process. Then, when it comes to publishing, things are easy for me. I'll tell you why. Because I don't have to see my rejection letters. I work with an agency which is called the Book Bakers. They are India's biggest literary agency, and I just give my book to my literary agent, Suhail Mathur, and he's just so kind. He takes care of it, and after that, things are really easy. So, a couple of months later, he just comes back to me with, okay, this publisher has accepted the book, and my books have been published by Vishwakarma Publications. They are India's leading publishing house, and they're based in Pune. And they are also the title sponsors of the Pune International Literature Festival. So that's second. So I would say that is like maybe 6 on 10. Of course, it takes time. It takes time, and you have to be very patient. But then it's okay. I'm not in a hurry. When I've spent, 10 years to write a book or 4 years to write a book, I'm really not. I don't want to see it coming out the next day because maybe I'll not even have the time to promote it. Whatever. And then, as far as promotion is concerned, I think if you have been a content creator, if you're just consistent, making one post at least a week or two posts a week, and people are really able to connect with you on a certain level, and they find your posts exciting, I think that's a ready base for you to kind of explore, and from there you can grow it. So promotion does not have to be so stressful and all. You have a couple of friends, you buy their books, they buy your book, they send you their pictures, you send them your pictures, so that's enough to get started. I've been a media person, I was a journalist, I worked with Times of India in Delhi, so that kind of I'm kind of familiar with how the Indian media works. So a couple of newspapers, I have I have been able to send them the press release for the book. They've published the story, interviews, and all that. So that gets sorted. And for interviews and all, you can always it's all goodwill. It's all like, what are you putting out? I believe if you're putting out good stuff, if you're kind hearted, if you're just on that vibrational frequency, things come to you. I don't have to go nudging people to promote and to buy my book or anything of that sort. I don't do that. No. I don't push the message like down their throat, like buy my book, buy my book. just telling them softly, okay, if you want to buy, you'll find it very interesting. And then just leave them with that energy.
Right.
I'm
Right.
a healer through and through, Mona Lisa. I'm like, I believe in vibrational frequencies. I believe that, you flow with the rhythms of the universe and everything just happens and everything just comes to you at the right time. See, we had to connect today and it's
There's
fun.
absolutely, I believe in you, and I'm also a believer of universe. And you just keep working, keep doing your efforts, and universe is taking care of the rest of the things.
Yeah, so just to let you know that even when the number one Amazon, my book was number one on Amazon's bestsellers list, I didn't know that would happen. And the moment it was there, I was like, am I really sure? Like, actually, for a few moments, I was like, stop up. I was like, this can't be true. And then it was 9 p.m. And then I'm fanatically just calling my publisher and everybody. And I'm like, you know what, guys, my book is on number one. It's trending on Amazon in paperback and on Kindle as well. And then I was like, wow, this is like so amazing. This is like a dream come true. So, not that I did anything for it. I just went with the flow of the universe, and universe was kind. Yeah. So, just got myself to that vibration. I'm sorry. I'm
Right.
just sorry.
So, do you want to read something? Maybe a paragraph or something from your book?
Yes, yes, yes. Would you like to listen to something like just a small paragraph? I don't want to bore everybody. So, this is just the guy's name over here is Parashuraman Joshi,
Now you have
and
chosen a very epic name.
so his parents, they chose the name of Parashuraman, thinking he would be a warrior, and because it's one of the names of Lord Vishnu. So an avatar of Lord Vishnu was called Parashuraman, but he has none of those characteristics. And there's a lot of stuff that's happening around his name as well in the novel, because it's almost like mostly in Indian families we do name our children around gods and goddesses, thinking that at least that would like the child would be something, some carry some characteristics of the god and goddess. But in his case, at least he's nothing like Parashuraman. He's nowhere close to a warrior spirit, and he's actually there's so much. That he needs to learn. This that's what people have told me, that there's a lot of character development in this story. Parasuraman is developing and he's coming into his power, and he's trying to understand. He's becoming more assertive. Otherwise, he's just auntie and uncles and neighbors, everybody trying to just poke their nose in his business. So yeah, there's a lot of fun around that Parasuraman's character as well, and his name especially. And this paragraph that I'm reading is just a small paragraph where he's getting a lot of proposals. So he asks his sister Ragini. Uh, I mean, I wonder where all these people, where are they getting my details from? How are they able to connect with you? How do they know who I am? So I'm just going to read the, and he's in no mood to listen to this another proposal that has come in, but just a slight bit of conversation that happens between him, Parashraman Joshi, and his sister Ragini. Okay, so so he asks, "How do these people find me?" I wonder. So this book is in first person. Is it? It's in first person, so it's written from Parashraman's point of view or through. And she says, through rapidindianmatrimony.com. My sister replies, you're listed there as Mr. Joshi NRI. She, I say to her, taking to the sofa, my name gives such a dated vibe. And she says, it still gets 30 responses a day. How about that? Ragini picks up her notepad and flips through the pages. So she's talking to him about a family. The family is from South India. I hope you don't have a problem with that because Nani and I are okay with it, she says, followed by, let's see this. Page number 969. Huh? You have a logbook of prospective brides? That's interesting. You could be a professional matchmaker, like Seema Taparia from that super hit Netflix show. Indian matchmaking? Yeah, that one. You've exactly the kind of enthusiasm needed for the job. Finding a bride for you has been enough of a headache. You want me to go insane, Parashraman? No, thanks. In that case, could I borrow your notepad for my friend? He's a Punjabi too, and always looking for a girl for himself. That book you saw in my laptop bag was his, not mine. So they have this banter going on, to and fro, brother and sister. She's trying to always come up with one proposal or the other, and he's just not interested. He's just not keyed into the whole kind of this matchmaking thing. But I mean, like most Indian boys, he has to just flow with whatever the family is saying, and he's very respectful of women and of his family. So the drama kind of just keeps going and it's never ending. But the thing with the novel is that I kind of like my novels to be very pacey. So I just take them from one event to the other, and that's why the thriller was so much fun to write, because the same pace that I have with Seconds Later is the same pace you will find in Mr. Joshi's Bride as well. Like everything happens, and it's kind of just to keep the reader going with the story. You never have a moment to think like, okay, you never have a slack moment in the story, not a sad moment in the story. Yeah.
Wow, interesting. Now I have it on my device. I'll read it and review it soon.
Thank you so much.
So, Vani, any message you want to give to your audience, to your readers?
Any message? I would say that our viewers could be writers, could be non writers. So the message is just I don't know what message would you think would be like would really make sense, because I wear many hats. So as a healer, I would say,
Like,
guys, just keep going, think positive, etc.
no, no. If you have to convince the audience, whoever will watch this video, a reason to read your book, what would that be?
I think just read it for the fun of reading books. This is a book that's gonna put a smile on your face. It's gonna give you something to think about. It's thought provoking, but in a very very light-hearted kind of way. So I tell you a small story here, and this is the impact that that books have per se, and my book has had that kind of an impact. I'm just so grateful. I received a letter from somebody in the US, and this was an African American lady, and she wrote to me, and I have her letter with me. And she wrote to me that she tried to commit suicide and she landed up in the hospital saved. And that point of time, somehow, God knows from where, I don't know, but my somebody gave her my book or she ordered my book. That's irrelevant. But basically, what she said was that the story was so beautiful that she could connect with the story. And there's a similar incident where Parasuraman also has an accident in the book. It's an accident basically, and she could relate to her situation. She could just find so much resonance with his character, and she's a lady, and she could still find so much resonance in his character, the way he's developed in the story, and the whole story made her kind of so happy inside that it made her write a letter to me like, thank you, Vani, for writing this book. So I just want to say that, and that books are wonderful. My book is wonderful as well. If you can pick it up, you'll probably it'll put a smile on your face as well. And when you do read it, leave me a good review. And why it's also interesting is because it's an NRI story with a lot of that unique Indian flavor and a theme which we all love: weddings, matchmaking, love, and comedy. So, how about that?
Perfect,
Did I make a
perfect, perfect.
convincing?
Absolutely. I was just about to say that this is the perfect time to pick your book because it's already wedding season right now in India, Delhi,
Yes.
everywhere. Gives another reason
You're
to
in,
pick it.
you're in Delhi? You're in Delhi?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
in Delhi.
wonderful. Yeah.
So lovely talking to you, Vani, and I wish you lots of success with your latest book. And
Mona,
give me some
I'm not
time, I'll
leaving.
review it.
I'm not leaving here without without you talking about your book as well. We are both writers, so I would also like to know about your book.
Uh, Maybe we can do it in some other podcast because this is your interview today. So people should not feel confused.
Okay, wonderful. And I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity to just, keep the focus on me. The spotlight is on me and on Mr. Joshi's life.
Yeah. So whenever you have your channel ready, you want to invite me, I'll be happy to come and be your guest.
Okay, wonderful.
So lovely talking to you today and wishing you again lots of success and please stay connected. We have so many things in common. So let's keep connecting with each other and lots of creativity to you.
Thank you so much, Mona Lisa. I have enjoyed our conversation. Thank you so much to the listeners and yourself, for hosting me, for calling me on this show, and for giving me the opportunity to talk about my book.
It was
More
all my
success, more power to your writing.
thank you. I take it with both my hands. Okay, so lovely talking to you. Okay, people, so this was Vani I was talking to, and please pick her book, the latest book, Mr. Joshi's Bride. It's a rom-com, you will love it. She writes in a fast-paced manner, so all the Gen Z will also love it. So quickly order it and review it and support the Indian reading community particularly. And please follow my page. Bye all, have a great evening.
Thank you.